Yo, yo, yo. We're back. First Choice Fantasy Football Podcast.
What?
And, shocking.
Yeah, I'm
Can't think we
shocked.
come back. It's been a little while. But yeah, today,
Week.
I sat down and you guys were just on here ready to go. I had no
Yeah,
idea we were
what a
doing a
coincidence.
podcast today.
We're gonna split it up today.
yeah, it feels very random. I don't really do podcasts like this, but episode 7. Due to popular demand, we're gonna be cutting these episodes instead of doing an hour and whatever the hell change it was. We're gonna be doing 3 episodes. We're gonna do quarterbacks, tight ends, and defense in this episode right here. The next upload we're gonna have is gonna be running backs, and then the third episode is gonna be wide receivers. So stick along with us through this this drudge right here with quarterbacks, tight ends, and defense. And yeah, anybody else got anything to say?
We're very dedicated to this group of teams, so these episodes might actually last an hour and more.
Each.
Each.
He said, "Mm-hmm."
No,
All right. Well,
not for this first one.
I do not agree with that, but cut to the intro.
I said, baby, I am not the one to play with. Ain't the type to give up, I'm driven and motivated. I just want some recognition and some compensation. But this ain't about the money and it ain't about the fame. I got lightning in a bottle, I think I just found my perfect sound. Can you see the fire in my eyes? Bitch, it's burning out. Lightning in a bottle, I think I just found my perfect sound. Can you see the fire in my eyes? Bitch, it's burning out.
All right, boys and girls, we are back. As I said previously, we are doing quarterbacks, tight ends, and defenses in this one. So kick it off with the quarterbacks. We're going to dive right into it. We got Alex first on the board. Here we go.
Yeah, not a lot of discussion here. I guess Watson, Tannehill, Minshew, Rivers. I didn't even spell Phil Rivers' name right on here. I would imagine that would be corrected by the time it's on there. But yeah, right now we got Philip River. And might I point out that before I edited it, you guys both spelled Philip wrong. So really disrespecting Philip Rivers.
Well, the list was basically just copied from your list because we all have the same rankings.
Ooh,
I just copied and pasted.
Yeah, I don't know. This is pretty straightforward to me. Watson is a superstar. Tannehill, I would imagine, would probably be pretty productive again. Minshew had a solid rookie season. I don't know if he's the answer there, but he put up a decent amount of points. And Rivers is a lock to throw 3 interceptions a game.
This is very true.
For a run-heavy team.
For a run-heavy team. Very factual.
I mean, Tannehill's team is extremely run-heavy as well, but that wasn't stopping him from being productive last year, so I don't see why that would change.
Highly efficient. You got anything else to say about your 4 that everybody else has in the same order?
Differing opinion.
Brandon, you can hit these quarterbacks next. What you got?
Obviously, the same list as Alex. I think Tannehill and Watson will both take steps back this year, but I still see Watson being number 1 in this division. I actually like Gardner Minshew. I like his value in drafts. I mean, he's a starting quarterback who ran the ball. So, for now, of course. But really, who's behind him?
It's not about who's behind him. It's about who's ahead of him in the future when that team goes 1-15 and drafts Trevor.
Well, we're talking redraft. If this was Dynasty, I'd relax on that.
I relax on that.
But
I still have him third in Dynasty.
Yeah.
Still
true.
Be ahead of Rivers.
Yeah. And Dynasty, these lists would also be the same.
Probably, be the same.
Well, Rivers, I don't mind this year. I think he might. I don't think he's going to be...
I don't hate him. I feel like you can do better.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't trust him. He had too many games last year where he just had meltdowns. And
I'm saying like a bye week.
Anywhere
I'm saying like a bye week throw in. Not really.
I mean,
I'm
in
not
terms
saying
of number
every
fours,
week in, week out, let's play.
I think he's ahead of the AFC East number 4 instead of, but I would put him behind Roethlisberger, who I had at 4, even though you guys have different people at 4.
I agree. I don't think Philip Rivers touches those 4. Never comes close, honestly. But yeah, what Brandon was saying about, or what you guys were saying about Philip Rivers, I agree wholeheartedly. This man, last year, obviously goes to the Colts with, they have T.Y. Hilton, but T.Y. Hilton and Keenan Allen, there's a big difference between the two. He doesn't have Keenan Allen. He doesn't have Austin Eckler. I just don't see him performing as he did in LA. But to add on to that, let me just go down my rankings from 1 to 4. Watson, obviously number 1 in this division with Tannehill, Minshew, Rivers behind him. You lose D-Hop, which is obviously going to disintegrate your value and your upside possibly, just because of the fact what did he have? He had a couple hundred, like 100 some targets this past year. He was easily going to be the highest target on the Texans. Then you lose him, so there's a ton of targets available. You add David Johnson, who, in my opinion, is 10 times better than Carlos Hyde, even though he is hobbled. Like everybody knows he's not healthy at the moment. But you add him, you get a receiving back that is better than Hyde. You add Cooks, you add Cobb. Fuller comes back healthy, quotation marks, because who fucking knows with that guy. I said I have no faith in O'Brien as a GM, but he's a decent offensive play caller. He's not the worst, and obviously the Texans' offense is going to be as bad as the Jaguars, so kind of have to do with that as you will. Then with Tannehill at 2, last year obviously he came in and just fucking lit the league on fire. He has crazy rushing upside, and last year you can attribute to most of his success to Jonnu Smith and AJ Brown. They both ranked top 4 in YAC after yards after catch per reception. AJ Brown finished 1st and Jonnu Smith finished 4th. And of 10 games that Tannehill started last year, he only had 1 game below 17 points, and it was 12.72. So obviously, if you just forget about that game, which you can't really do that, but if you just look at every other game, the 9 games that he did start, he didn't have any games lower than 17 fantasy points. So obviously, it shows that his floor is very safe, and he should be. I mean, he can be used as a quarterback 1 this year, in my opinion. I think, especially with his ADP at QB 19, even if you draft him as a second quarterback and say, like, your first quarterback got hurt or something, I think he'd be good position and better position than drafting somebody like a Phillip Rivers. But yeah, like I said, he has great value because he's a QB 19 per Fantasy Pros. That's where the ADP is coming from. And then with Minshew, obviously he has rushing upside. He is in a new system though, so don't expect him to go crazy. He's talented, decent supporting cast. Not much else to say about the guy. And then Rivers loses Keenan Allen, gets Paris Campbell as a slot receiver. Obviously, there's a big difference there too.
You think Jack Campbell's doing that or Pittman's playing that? Pittman was slot in USC. He
was, yeah. I don't know where I seen it on Twitter. I seen a report come out. Obviously, it's fucking Twitter. It's not the Colts that are saying this, but they were expecting Paris Campbell to play the slot. Even if Michael Pittman does play the slot, I can see. I don't know. Like Michael Pittman compared to Keenan Allen, there's just another huge difference there. Like you can't get another Keenan Allen, so there's not going to be as much production from Phillip Rivers as last year. So I don't think you can draft Phillip Rivers to be a starting quarterback this year. Even quarterback 2 is kind of shaky there.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it for the quarterbacks here.
Let's talk about some tight ends.
Let's get into these tight ends, shall we? I guess we can go with Brandon first. We can give Brandon these tight ends real quick.
Jonnu Smith. I think he's my 2020 tight end that I'm gonna follow. I like him. I like him replacing Delaney Walker. He's a physical specimen. Huge man. He's quick. He can catch the ball. Although he did have a few drops last year that would have made him more into fantasy conversations, but those costly drops can sometimes hinder value. But he's my 1, and same with you guys. And then I got Doyle at 2. He's kind of just old reliable, kind of like just kind of plug and play. Your starting tight end were to get hurt or just didn't pan out from your draft. Jack Doyle's just fine to pick up or throw a little trade to someone. Pick up Jack Doyle, get him in. Just for a few games though. Don't rely on the man.
Do you think he could just be a streaming option at this point? Like, would you draft him to be your starter? Like, would that be?
I wouldn't draft him to be your starter. If I got Doyle, it would be if I were to have gotten a tight end with question marks.
Yeah.
Someone, I guess you could say, like TJ Hawkinson, I guess, the best example I have right now off the top of my head. Because if Hawkinson doesn't produce the first few weeks, I would personally pivot because so I would pivot, and if I were to pivot, Jack Doyle isn't a bad option. And then I've got Trey Burton at 3. I think he had some successes as a backup tight end with Philadelphia, wouldn't you say? So why can't he be a decent backup for the Colts, who use their tight ends typically?
If you're starting Trey Burton, that is a real desperate situation that we've gotten to.
This doesn't necessarily mean start Trey Burton. This means
after 2, every tight end in this division sucks. So
all right, hypothetically, you draft T.J. Hawkinson. He don't pan out. You pick up Jack Doyle. Doyle gets hurt. Trey Burton's a decent play.
What's up with your T.J. Hawkinson slander? Like, where'd this come from all of a sudden?
Yeah, why do you?
Is this the first tight end that comes to mind that has
just because they didn't perform?
Glaring question marks.
I don't know about that. I mean, he was decent as a rookie. Rookie tight ends just
no,
don't
produce.
I know. Like it just doesn't happen.
But at the same time, he didn't have like relevant weeks other than first week.
He's a rookie tight end. That's to be expected. You got to think, this is Jonnu Smith's 4th season. He took him 3 3/4 seasons, which he did. 2 3/4 seasons in which he did absolutely nothing.
He did something last year.
No, that's what I mean. 2 3/4 seasons, and then he, had a solid stretch at the end of last year.
That's crazy. He's only 23 years old.
Yeah, he's young. He's really young. Good dynasty asset. But yeah, I saw Trey Burton at 3. After Jonnu Smith and Doyle, to me, it's like unplayable assets. I know you guys have Eifert at 3. I mean, I guess he could be a playable player, but like that's Eifert.
Eifert is at 3 for me because technically speaking, somebody had to be at 3.
So yeah, exactly what I'm trying to say. And then Darren Fowles at 4 because he's targeted in the end zone. He's gonna get those TDs. It's whether or not you play him the right time. Would you play him at the right time, Ed?
I never would. I do not play tight end touchdown landmines. I would never. Those things just pop up randomly.
I just wouldn't have rostered him.
I love playing with people who, like, in redraft leagues, they go to pick up. Darren Waller has like a week, or Darren Fells has a week where he just puts up 24 points or something like that, a few touchdowns. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, he's going to be the new Gronk."
Immediately.
You have to pick him up.
You have to.
And then Ryan Griffin did that last year.
Yeah. Oh, everybody loved Ryan Griffin last year.
Scored 3 touchdowns in a game.
Oh yeah.
Did nothing for like the rest of his life.
Didn't you trade for Ryan Griffin last year, Brandon? I feel like you did.
I think I did.
Yeah.
That's because I was in tight end hell.
What, did you draft T.J. Hawkinson? Is that what happened?
Yeah, you bailed on Hawkinson
maybe I
after
just have
expecting him to produce as a rookie.
Maybe
I
had
you
like
have a slant towards Hawkinson.
I have a psychological wall. I just am like
large aversion to T.J.
Get Hawkinson out of here. No, I think I had Darren Waller. I drafted Darren Waller and I traded Waller for someone.
You did have Waller. You had both of them.
Yeah.
You had Waller and Hawkinson.
So I put myself in that position, but at the time, I kind of expected to be losing some games.
Didn't you get Hawkinson? After he had those 2 good weeks, because he had a solid start
with him. I drafted him. I forget what round exactly. I think it was 10th round, maybe. Not sure.
Some solid tight ends, man.
Definitely some solid tight ends. All right. Well, since Brandon is finished with his tight ends, I'll bring up my list. And we both have Jonnu Smith at 1 and Jack Doyle at 2. I have Tyler Eifert at 3, mainly because I forgot about Trey Burton, not going to lie. Not like it matters. He's not relevant.
Ranking Trey Burton.
And some dude named Hale Waring at 4, who is a decent athlete and was drafted in the 3rd round, not this past year, but in the 2019 NFL draft. He missed the entire rookie season with a concussion and a hamstring injury, which it baffles me because he got hurt in the preseason and he missed 18 weeks due to a concussion and a hamstring. But hey, if you just want to take a break, take a break. Yeah.
Is that just a phantom IR thing?
Yeah, I think it was one of those IR things. Yeah.
Who then was? Well, you suck, so we're gonna sit you on the bench for a year.
And I said he faces an uphill battle for snaps. Obviously, Darren Fells was a big red zone target last year for Deshaun Watson, and they also have Jordan Akins. He was a third-round tight end last year, third-round draft capital. Decent physical traits, produced in college, and the top three are pretty self-explanatory. But Jonnu Smith, like I said earlier, he was a fourth player in yards after catch per reception, and second tight end in yards after catch per reception. Right behind another rookie tight end, Noah Fant. I don't really got much else to say about these tight ends because tight end position is boring as fuck. So let's just get to Alex.
I don't necessarily like Smith as much as a lot of people do, but I think he's a solid option. My thing is, like Brandon said, he's not the best at securing the ball. And catching the ball happens to be pretty important when you play a role as a pass catcher. But obviously the run after the catch ability is there, so that's more than that can be said about any of these other guys. Doyle is whatever. He's that backup plan. I didn't even know Eifert signed with Jacksonville, and I don't care who plays tight end for the Texans. They're not going to play tight end for my fantasy team. Neither is Eifert, really. I don't really think he'll do anything. I remember he used to be good, and then he just kept getting hurt every single week he stepped on the field. I don't kind of feel bad for the guy, but
he used to rock a mullet too. It's pretty stylish, if you ask me.
He was good before. Assuming his body is just a shell now. Shell of its former self.
Didn't he have his leg collapse on some shit? You've seen it snap.
He had some pretty bizarre injuries.
Yeah.
Didn't he have a bunch of concussions too?
Yeah.
I think that was a problem too.
The Brandon Cooks of tight ends.
Oh, yeah.
Tight ends are forward. Let's move on to the defenses.
On to the defenses.
Defense.
All right. Ed. That's me. I'm going to start with my list with the Indianapolis Colts, a.k.a. They have the best defense. It's up to them and the Titans. Honestly, it's kind of a toss-up, to be honest with you. But I think the Colts are going to run a little bit more this year, so it kind of sets their defense up for success. Plus, they added was it DeForest Buckner from the 49ers? I believe that's who it was.
I didn't like that trade for them. However, he's going to produce more than someone would at that pick. So
exactly,
it helps the defense overall.
Kind of in contention, I guess you would say, at this point in career with Phillip Rivers, number 39 years old, or whatever the fuck.
Gotta do what you can, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not really much to say about these defenses. You guys know the fucking defenses, the Texans, the Jaguars, the Titans, the Colts. Yeah. You're only going to start probably the Colts and the Titans. Texans, Jaguars, I don't even know if you would even have them on your roster, to be honest. But if you do, I feel bad for you.
I agree.
I think, the Coltons. Let's combine
the Coltons.
The Coltons. The Colts and Titans are starting defenses. I think the Texans can occasionally be against weaker teams. It seems like they have a tendency to beat up weaker teams. However, then they play good teams, and the Chiefs score eight straight possessions on them or something like that. The playoff game is wild.
Who are their starting corners anymore? I think they lost Kevin Johnson. They lost Jonathan Joseph.
They're not good. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, so
it's funny to watch good teams just absolutely march up the field on them like they're not even out there.
It's good though, because then we get to see Deshaun Watson play, and that's fun. That's the fun part.
True.
Speaking of crappy defenses, as you can see, I have not starting a defense listed over the Jaguars. Is that a bit extreme? Maybe, but I think there's going to be at least 5 weeks where they go negative. They didn't have a lot of talent, and they got rid of the rest of their talent. Anyone they could is just shipping them off. They've got Josh Allen and Miles Jack, I think.
Yeah, Telvin Smith is dead. Didn't he retire or some shit?
Isn't he going to jail?
Yeah.
No, he's going to jail.
He's going to jail.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he did some shady stuff involving a minor.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
I don't know.
What about this whole man? What the fuck's his name? The defensive end.
Ngakwe.
Yeah, Ngakwe. Are they ever gonna what the fuck's gonna happen with the dude?
I have no idea at this point.
It baffles me.
If he stays,
he's currently handcuffed to the stadium. Jaguars
had their
can't go.
He's out there collecting rain in the cup.
Yeah.
I don't wonder if he's going to go the Trent Williams way, in which he just kind of hovers there indefinitely, and the team eventually realizes, well, shit, we should have traded you a year and a half ago.
I don't know. I've seen those tweets he sent out. He got a little irritated with he tweeted at the co-owner, I believe, and the co-owner tweeted back at him. It was exchange. Very bad exchange, but yeah.
You know you got beef when the owner's tweeting at the players.
Yeah.
That's when you know shit is real.
Well, my reasoning for having Titans at 1 is because, well, I believe in Ryan Tannehill more than Phillip Rivers at this point in their careers.
That's a reasonable thought, and I wondered that myself because Phillip Rivers, when he throws 45 interceptions this year, might screw their defense over pretty badly.
Because their offenses are so similar. I mean, I don't know. They're both run heavy. It just depends on what quarterback do you trust the most to have the ball longer, and I think it's going to be the Titans.
I don't know,
I
but
think
I
the
don't know if
Colts
you're.
have more playmakers on the defense, which is why I have them ranked a little higher. But I see your argument.
Yeah, and then the others, you're not going to play the Texans, and you're not going to play the Jaguars. There's your defenses.
I'm going to play the Texans against the Jaguars, hoping for that J.J. Watt strip sack in the event that J.J. Watt happens to be on the field.
I was gonna say,
Which is 50-50 anymore.
Toss up. Well, that was an anticlimactic 3-positional episode right there.
This division's boring.
This is very boring. We do have a question here at
yes, we do.
And Alex has been waiting on this for a few minutes, so let's hear it from Brandon.
Not liking the potential here. I have an idea of what it might be.
And I think you might know. So here's my question to you all. Is cereal a soup?
It's actually not what I thought
Or why not?
going with. But yes.
Alex is a yes. Ed.
Yeah.
I want to say no because, like, what soup uses milk as the broth? I've never.
You've never heard of a cream-based soup?
Well, I guess that makes sense.
Cream of mushroom soup? You're telling me that those just because one has more heavy cream and the other one's milk, just that's.
You're talking to a chef, Ed.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not a chef.
Yeah, you're right.
At a retirement home.
I guess. Yeah. It's a soup.
It sounds like blasphemy, but if you take a bowl of milk, dump a bunch of stuff in it, you just essentially have soup.
I don't eat soup, so I'm not sure. But like, is there cold soups? Like, is that like a thing?
That's what I was.
Yeah.
The only thing I was
soup.
going to bring up, but
What's
you've ever had like chicken soup or something made from scratch that you've eaten cold out of the fridge?
I just do not eat soup. No, that's not
cold soup.
Oh, so like
you
eat
hot cereal,
but you can't. You can, but is it like a known?
Is it
thing?
prepared? Is it prepared as a cold?
Yeah.
I mean, generally no, but like pretty sure you could. Is there a difference here?
Yes. It's all about the temp.
It's all about the temp.
I don't know about that. You can have hot cereal though, so.
Well, yeah, it's oatmeal.
Yeah, that's oatmeal.
But is oatmeal cereal?
Yeah, that's got oats.
Yeah.
Or is it an oat?
And it's a meal.
A meal of oats. It's a meal of oats. It's not a meal of cereal.
I think we got Alex backtracking here.
No, you don't, actually. I just said it's all a soup. The oatmeal is soup. The cereal is soup. The cream of wheat is disgusting and belongs in the trash.
I agree.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Right.
Leave a comment down below if you believe soup. If you believe cereal is a soup, or if you believe cereal is not a soup, okay? And
soup
explain your reasoning.
Or do you think soup is a cereal?
No, I just fucking said no before we get out of hand here.
Explain your reason to that too, because I mean, if you bring up a good point, Alex will definitely attack you in the comments. So please do so.
Right, because cereal is like wheat based, and not all soup is like that. When you think of cereal, it's like a grain typically, which is why like a soup is a very like broad term. A cereal generally means some sort of grain, and not all soup is a cereal because it's not all filled with oats and grains and whatnot.
But all cereal is a soup.
Yes. You heard it
here
just
first.
like a sub is a sandwich. So is a hot dog.
No, it's not.
Is a sub a sandwich though?
A sub is a sandwich. I don't know
then
how you
by
could
that logic,
that.
by that logic, a hot dog is then, right?
Yeah.
No.
All right.
Oh.
All right.
Well,
yeah.
by that definition, yeah. I mean, by that assumption, yeah.
Because it's the same piece of bread, just with like different meat inside of it. Let's not discriminate on our meats here.
That's like saying like I don't know. So sausage would be a sandwich, like a sausage hoagie or sausage sub would be a.
I mean, if
sandwich.
you put it in between that bread, yes. If you just eat sausage on its own, no, it's not a sandwich. Unless you have two pieces of sausage outside of the original piece of sausage.
And what if you put?
Then you have a sausage sandwich.
If you put anything in a roll, it's a sandwich. You could put
I
like,
guess it is now.
with that logic, I guess so. Let me make a
Yeah.
ramen noodle sandwich. It's actually pretty
Yeah.
fucking good. I'm not gonna lie.
That sounds terrible.
It's
It does.
it's a
There's
struggle
just
meal.
too much. Like, there's too many carbs there. You've got bread, you've got noodles, and then you've got bread.
Do I look like I care about carbs, Alex?
Well, I like my food to taste good.
I just like carbs a lot. I could eat bread by itself all day long. I
I
just
don't
had
like
a roll,
just
actually.
eating bread.
I just had an
I like
Amoroso
stuff
roll.
in my bread. I love hot sandwiches, or I guess any sandwiches, as long as there's stuff inside of the bread. I can't just have bread. I need some cheese and meat, some onion, tomato in there.
He needs those cheese and meats. All right. Well, now that we're done with this question, yeah, that's all we really got for
That's
you
it.
today. Yeah,
We're gonna have some running backs later.
We're gonna have some running backs in the next episode. So leave a like, comment, subscribe, share, and answer that question because we need Alex to get angry. We need it. So
Yeah.
do you.
It's not
I don't
really that
think he
hard.
was angry enough this time.
He wasn't.
That's
He
not the
needs to
question
bring
I
it
thought
up.
you were going with.
Well, that question will be revealed next episode.